again and welcome to another edition of Newsmaker of the Week. I'm Leon Worden and I'm pleased to welcome this week's Newsmaker returning guest from the Saugus Union School District, Superintendent Joan Lucid. Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much. It's always nice to come back and have a conversation about all the wonderful things that are going on in Saugus.
How's it going this year?
It's amazing. We've got a larger enrollment than we had anticipated.
Oh, yeah.
We've got an amazing group of teachers and great administrators, and I've been out at school sites. Just incredible work going on that we are just thrilled with what we see. Our kids came back all with smiles, and they're ready to go. In fact, they're getting ready to go off on a fall break at the end of this week.
Now, one school site you went to that wasn't too fun recently was Mountain View.
No,
Tell me what happened.
I was there this morning and took a tour with Katie Dempscher, the principal, who has just done an amazing job. Sometime late on Wednesday night, we had vandals that entered the school and did a great deal of destruction that there was really no cause for. And it's upsetting when you see that your school has been violated in so many ways.
And it was vandalism, it wasn't a theft, right? I mean, they
No.
trashed the library. I guess they destroyed some computer stuff.
Computers
and didn't steal anything.
and not that we know of. We had one of our beautiful new interactive flat panels was destroyed, and then the library was pretty much a mess. But Mrs. Dempscher sent out an email to her parent group on a constant contact, and she had an army of volunteers.
Yeah, I was going to say the school community. I mean, you know, they probably like most neighborhoods, they have strong feelings for their school and took it very personally, I would imagine.
It's their school, their family. They came back. That library is set, ready to go. The parents groups did an amazing job bringing everything back together. We had our tech team on site. We've got in fact, the tech team is there today still doing some of the repairs so that we can make sure all of our internet and technology connections are all appropriately up.
Because you've done a lot of upgrading. I mean, you passed a bond measure in what, I think it was
2014.
2014.
And we were very blessed that our community is so very supportive. And with that bond measure, we concluded putting in the backbone for all of our technology. We've also put in the interactive flat panels, 84-inch panels in all of our upper grade rooms, the 74-inch panels in the lower grades. It's amazing when I walk through rooms to know that the panels have been in place less than a year, and yet when you watch our teachers use them, you are just blown away by just their knowledge base and how integral they are to the demonstration for lessons and bringing things more alive for our kids.
Yeah, those seem really cool. I've seen pictures. I haven't gone over and seen
them
yet.
You have to come see.
I need to come see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, it wouldn't, obviously it doesn't, it doesn't lessen the feel of being violated, but I would imagine that equipment like was damaged at Mountain View, there's insurance for that, right?
We do, but it takes time. It means that our children can't have the kind of access that we would like them to have.
Yeah. Were there closed circuit cameras there? Or?
No, we don't have those.
You don't spy on the kids and teachers and all that?
No.
You don't sit there in your superintendent's office and watch all the classrooms and, you know.
I much prefer being out at the schools, walking through classrooms, seeing what children are doing and talking with our teachers and being part of that environment and the atmosphere. Yeah. Sitting at my desk is not one of my preferred activities.
Me neither, but I do it all darn day long. You said enrollment is up. How is that? I mean, it's kind of funny, you know, with the transition in the 80s and into the 90s, the schools are bursting at the seams, but then now lately we've been in a period of declining enrollment. Why is enrollment up, or is it just over your projection?
Well,
I guess those are two different things.
They are two different things. It's over our projection. I think a lot that people that have moved out here like living here. They like the city. They like the atmosphere, everything. They've raised their children and haven't moved. We've got a couple of new developments that have come into play, and then some of the older neighborhoods are starting to turn over a little bit. So that's good news for our schools. And we're excited that we're able to, have all of our kids benefit from a great public education.
I hear from some superintendents, and I should probably point that out for some of our, new residents, that we actually have 4 elementary school districts.
Correct.
Here, of which one is Saugus. So this doesn't really apply directly to everybody, but it applies to those if you vote and you see Saugus Union School District on your ballot, then that's where we're talking to.
Well, we're the largest.
But yes. And how many schools is it?
We have 15 schools,
yeah.
and we have schools in Canyon Country. We have schools in Saugus. We have
That's why I
schools in
didn't say it's
Valencia.
just Saugus. That's
So
why I kinda make
we're across the board.
Make the differentiation between if you see it on your ballot rather than
Yes.
just in Saugus, because you also have Valencia. You've got Bridgeport.
Correct.
But what I was going to say is that some of the superintendents are saying how their communities are gentrifying and they're not seeing, so we're not seeing the same numbers of kids coming into the district. What's the situation in the Saugus district?
I think as our homes are turning over, we're seeing families with younger children coming in. We do have the area that's up along Newhall Ranch into the Five Knolls and the River Village. Those folks are all part of the Saugus Union School District. And then we're also seeing some building that's going up along Plum Canyon. And those students will be attending one of our school, Plum Canyon School as well, or going on up to Sky Blue, depending on exactly where they're located. So there's a lot going on in that area, and when we ask people, why did you move to the Santa Clarita Valley? Inevitably they tell us, we moved because of the reputation of the schools themselves.
Yeah, good schools and relatively safe streets and that. And with the new development that you have in the Saugus district, I would imagine that a lot of those new homes, I mean, is yuppie still a word? But young urban professionals are buying them, and they have school-age kids. To a great degree, I would imagine.
We're seeing everything, and we're seeing all kinds of families, and we're just very excited that they're part of our larger Saugus family.
Yeah. Attracting people from out of the area, out of the school district boundaries, to come to the school district has been something that we've seen in recent years, probably more than in the past, in the days when everybody's bursting at the seams. I think that kind of started with West Creek Academy, really, where you were you had one of the first schools that you were making it I mean, yes, I guess all schools technically are open to everybody.
Our schools are open where we have
you pushed
room.
it with West Creek Academy to where you made it obvious that this is a place where something special and different is going on.
Well, with West Creek, the school was being built, it was ready to open, and we only had 70 children in the area. And so we looked at what could be possibly done, and there was a lot of discussion, and we chose to go with a music and performing arts kind of focus. Right. And we did an open enrollment that very first year, and we were very successful with that. And it was not big advertising, it was simply this is available, and it fulfilled a need. And at this point in time, that's a closed school. It's only open to the residents because obviously West Hills, West Creek has come in like gangbusters.
And so that was done for a specific purpose, obviously. But now we've seen other districts kind of ramp that up and advertise that they want new students. Do you have a similar program going on like that?
We do a lot of our work through letting parents know what's going on with our Facebook account. We do it with our administrators giving information out at what's going on at their individual school sites. We invite parents and members of our community to come and take a look during our open houses at the conclusion of the year. I don't have a formal program because what I want to make sure is that we're good neighbors and good consumers of what goes on in our own individual district. And I think we do a very good job. Our reputation speaks for itself. We continue to improve programs. I'm out right now on a listening tour with our parents and have done a superintendent coffee at a number of schools. I'll finish up after the fall break at the rest of the schools. But to get a sense from parents, what is it that you're looking for what's going on that's really great at your school, what are some things that you'd like to know about, and many of them are, wanting to know what's going on from the district level, what are we doing to support the needs at the individual school sites. We continue to be funded less than a lot of other people, and that has to do with
Meaning
the
large
new
districts
funding.
like Los Angeles.
Right. Well, the local control funding formula was supposed to be a great equalizer, and the base funding is the same, but the base funding was never enough.
Right.
And so there were dollars put into the supplemental and the concentration that really are about the percentage of students who are on free and reduced, that are English language learners, or who are foster youth or homeless, which we need to have those dollars in order to provide assistance. But there's still not enough money within our general base funding to provide for everything that goes on. And we do a very good job of pinching that nickel to make it a dime.
You mentioned English language learners, and I know the voters last November opted to, I guess, open the door or bring back bilingual education after 25 years of English immersion. Has the Saugus District taken any different steps because of that?
Right now, we're looking at all of the changes that are going on and really wanting to make sure that we have things in place. We had a move to the Common Core, which we've now incorporated. Our teachers are doing amazing work.
It's been a couple of years now.
And then we've had a new math adoption that happened 2 years ago. We're looking right now at a new English language arts adoption, and a lot of that has to do with our teachers piloting, getting their input. What is it that makes the most sense for the children here in Saugus? Then we're also looking at a whole new state testing system. This is third year. We're waiting for those scores to come out. We're also putting all of this new technology in. And that takes a lot of time for our teachers to assimilate, to put into place, and wanting to make sure that we're doing absolutely everything so that we meet the needs of our children. We are looking at our vision of academic and personal success for every child. And that means that we need to be looking at what are we doing academically, but also what are we doing? We have to have their hearts in order to have their heads. And so we've got a new program for positive behavioral supports that's going into the classrooms to help children to learn to be more responsible for their own actions, as well as knowing what is the expected behavior. And being able to articulate that. So when you've got a child that runs down the hallway, say, what's the expectation here? The expectation is that I walk down the hallway. Can you show me that? As opposed to yelling out, don't run.
Is it harder? I don't know how to ask this. I guess if kids watch the news, they see a lot of negativity. And maybe perhaps you could say personal behavior that is not something that you'd want to see kids emulate. Is it harder these days to teach kids right and wrong than maybe it was in past years?
I think our kids have a pretty good sense. When I walk through classrooms, the teachers all have their own system of working with children, and that classroom management is really important because you can't teach if you have chaos. And I just am really impressed with our teachers are really good at engaging the students, and in doing that engagement, the kids are right there with the teachers. So when we have issues, we're calling parents in and we're talking with them because it's important that all children can learn. We need to have everyone that knows we're here about education, and when we have a child that isn't quite doing what they're supposed to do, part of our educational process is to help them understand what does it mean to behave appropriately in this setting. And I think that our administrators working with our teachers, working with our parents, they do a great job.
You mentioned Common Core, you mentioned the changes to math curriculum. What are the biggest, headaches that state mandates are causing for you this year?
Not enough funding.
But are there new programs that are new things that are?
You know, I think that we've always, because we're in school, we've always been very flexible. We do what we need to do with what we have, and we're fortunate that our parents stand with us in partnership so that we can continue to do more. Our parent groups support so many extra activities, and that makes a significant difference in a child's environment and their school experience. Our state continues to send us rules and regulations, and part of the job that I have is to make sure that whatever those rules and regulations are, that we take care of them in the best possible way, and that it doesn't impact or impede the instructional process in the schools themselves.
You know, we've heard so much about STEM the last few years, science, technology, education, math,
Engineering.
Engineering and math. Education's important too, I guess, but engineering and math. And we're starting to see kind of a re-recognition of the importance of the arts.
And I don't think we've ever left them. I think there's, you know, at least in the Saugus District, we've never left them. We've developed a nice partnership with the College of the Canyons, and we have a really nice program coming in this year. All of our 6th graders will have a hip hop experience. We've got artists in residence going on at a number of schools. We have both performing arts, we have the visual arts going on. We have 2 teachers on special assignment that are music and art. They're out at the school sites, working with the teachers, doing unbelievable activities with our children, so they are getting that whole appreciation for the arts. We belong to the Kennedy Center, which I had the opportunity to be part of that founding team. And so we've got a lot of instruction and professional development across our valley, so that the performing arts and the visual arts are really integrated with our core subjects as well. And that if our children are going to learn something in math, but there's an artistic form that can come into that, we're showing our teachers how to bring that into play.
Right. Why are the arts important?
I think the arts are important because they fulfill us. They give us a rounded experience. There is a love of what goes on. We live in a community with a lot of artistic people. The film industry is large in our Santa Clarita Valley. And our children need to have that appreciation for the critical thinking, for the creativity, for the beauty of what's around them. And we get to see that. We get to watch the lights go on where a child brings a set of crayons and creates something that wasn't there before. Or they're on a stage and they're having the opportunity to learn a dance and they're bringing their own creativity to that. That's all part of what we need to do, as well as the academics. They all need to know how to read. They all know how to write. And we have that responsibility to make sure it's at the most effective level that we can do it.
And I guess some of them, just to switch gears a little bit, are learning about gardening.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Oh, we are blessed. We have this amazing PTA mom at one of our schools, and she got out and decided that we needed to have a garden. And so she got a grant. She got another PTA lady to help her get some things done. And at Helmers Elementary, we have a full-on gardening experience for our children. It brought in someone else who wanted to bring art, so we have a beautiful mural that's up for the children to see that they actually participated in the painting of. And the kids this fall are all excited to get going with all of the gardening experiences. What
are some of the other kind of special programs that come to mind at some of the schools?
Oh my, they're all doing different things. At Emblem, we have our STEAM Academy, and we're doing a lot with just the idea of students being able to do some additional exploration. We have science and technology, engineering and math going on at all of our schools. We have students learning how to do coding, so that they're spending some time doing that. We've got robotics going on at a number of the schools, and it's fun
We're
to...
talking elementary schools.
Absolutely. We're watching those children being able to program those little bots and they move about. We're watching, again, the different art forms that the children are working on. At North Park Elementary, we generally have some sort of an installation at each year at their open house, and it's always exciting to see, what's it going to be this year. And so that there are some traditions from site to site. All the school sites are also working on making sure that kindness is important, that we take into consideration other feelings, and that we're all about really working with one another because we all have a stake in the success of each other.
So it's safe to say there's something cool happening at each of the campuses.
Absolutely. Take a look at Facebook. If the school sites send us out something, we've got it up there.
So if somebody were thinking about this principal for a day thing, maybe they should look at wanting to be a principal at one of the Saugus.
Oh, come on down. Absolutely. What an experience. And our principals will welcome anyone with open arms. I think it's a great way for our community members to see what goes on in a school in the morning.
Tell us about Principal for a Day for those who don't know.
Oh, it's Principal for a Day is we're doing this October the 13th. It's a Friday morning, and it's like from 9 until about 1 o'clock is when we finish. Anyone in the community has an opportunity to either be a principal, and I'm not sure who's coming my way yet. I generally have someone that shadows me as well, but an opportunity to get into a school, spend a morning with the principals, see what happens, walk in classrooms. Sometimes the school site will say, okay, Principal for a Day, you're in charge of the assembly for today. Or taking a look at, how do they affect the things that need to be affected at the individual school sites. They have that opportunity.
What's the purpose of doing that?
I think it's important for our greater community to see what goes on in our schools. And 201, when we talk with our business people, our community members who have done the experience, they've said, wow, how do you do all the things that you do with the little that you have?
With a little bit of money that you have. And so I would imagine there are ways for the community to participate. I mean, obviously, the voters of this valley have participated, several times, whether in Saugus or any other school district, and certainly in recent years, and have stepped up to the plate. But I would imagine there are other opportunities for people to participate.
Absolutely. I know that we're out there with partnerships with a number of our different restaurants. The kids are out there doing restaurant nights, and those dollars come back into things that happen at the school. We've got different folks that have a wonderful talent, and they are working through our PTAs and bringing some of those talents into our schools. And our PTAs have a number of different programs that anyone that wants to be involved is certainly invited to come do that, because we are your community school. And we want everyone to know that we're here for our children and for our community.
What's ahead? Tell me what are you gonna do when you leave here?
I love elementary school, and I have just been blessed to be part of the elementary school experience. I've been in the district for 37 years. I came as a teacher, and I've had a lot of different experiences.
I'm going to cut you off. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I didn't mean what you're going to do when you leave the district. I meant what you're going to do when you leave here today.
Today?
Where are you going? Tell me about your day.
Gosh. This afternoon I'm off to another school site and talking with the principal and see what's going on. And then we've got a couple of more coffees coming up with superintendents within the next after we come back from break. So there's always something that's going on. My calendar is always full.
I know that. Joan Lucid, thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us. If you missed any portion of this program, you can see it again and again on scvtv.com. Check back here, Spectrum Channel 20, AT&T Uverse 99 for another Newsmaker of the Week.